Hi. The discussion or the sharing today is, you could say in a way, it's about freedom. And in a way, you can't say anything about it, because there isn't anything that isn't free, that isn't freedom happening. So this is freedom happening. It isn't a feeling, but it is all feelings. It isn't a thought, but it is all thoughts. It isn't a body or a position or anything in particular, but it appears as everything particular. It's both. It's not separate. It's just simply everything. And this is that. It doesn't, in some ways, it never actually changes, but it's all change. So freedom is all there is. It's all that's ever happening, but it appears as all these different apparent happenings. And that is true everywhere. So every body, every wall, all the space, everything else is this, freedom. And freedom being boundless and limitless and unconditioned can appear as anything. And one thing it can appear as is a sense of separation, which if it's happening in a body, the experience is I'm in a body, I'm a person, I'm a me. And when that happens, the freedom that this is seems to be lost. To that separate experience, to that me, the only thing that has value is what it can know or experience. And freedom, being everything, isn't separate. It can't be known. It can't be experienced. It's just everything. And so what happens is that sense of separation, the me, is on a journey. It goes on a journey of becoming. And it might even come to a meeting like this and feel like this is about becoming something. Whereas, honestly, it's just about loss. In a way, or death. but a loss or a death of something that already isn't really happening, because that sense of separation is one of conditional. It's like freedom is conditional to my feeling of freedom, or my freedom to be any way I want, or something personal about it. Now that's still the same freedom I was talking about in the beginning, but it doesn't have any value for the individual. So it misses, it loses, or it seems like it's lost the freedom that we're talking about. And out of that sense of separation comes a sense of longing. There's wanting, which is wanting personal freedom. And then there's longing, which is the longing for what we're talking about. Longing is impersonal. And so the meeting in that way isn't going to give anything. Not because this is cruel and uncaring, but because what's truly longed for is already everything. What might happen as we discuss this and talk with each other, if there might be a sense of relaxation, there might be a sense of unraveling, there might be sort of an oh, or a yes, or something along those lines, or not. It might be exactly the opposite. You might think, well, what a dick. I should leave. This is stupid. It doesn't really matter. It's not about anything happening in particular, because where this is coming from, what's being said, everything is already free. So it isn't trying to change the feelings, the experience of separation. It's just merely an expression of freedom coming out as words, just like that's an expression of freedom sitting in a chair. That's all there is. We can talk about that.
Jim, I wanted to say something to you, if it's okay.
Yeah?
Well, first of all, I'm really can't express how happy I am to be sitting with you again.
Yay!
I know.
Yeah.
I knew it'd be good, but I didn't think it'd be this good.
Yeah.
I told you, obviously, I saw Tony a couple of weeks ago in London.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was coming up strongly all day on Saturday, just sitting in the room, I just felt totally loved.
Yeah.
In a way that I can't describe.
Mm.
And then it was happening all Sunday. I was just feeling totally loved. So on the break on Sunday, I went over to him and I said, Tony, I've been sitting here for the last day and a half and I feel completely loved. And he said, you are.
Yeah. Totally.
And what I wanted to say was that hasn't gone away for the last 3 weeks. No matter what's happening, I could be having the most severe anxiety attack or not.
Yeah.
It's just like feeling totally loved.
Yeah.
I can't put it into words.
Yeah. No, you can't.
It's just what's happening.
Yeah.
that's totally meaningless.
Yeah, of course. Because it doesn't give you, it's nothing for you.
It's not for me.
No.
But I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's really no one to thank for this sharing.
No, there isn't. It's already true there.
What's already true where?
That there's only love.
You feel gratitude for the meetings, though.
Gratitude comes up, absolutely.
Not just at your meetings, but when you were seeing Tony.
Yeah.
You feel gratitude for that, don't
Yeah,
you?
yeah, absolutely.
You just don't feel...
There isn't a gratitude for
to
anyone.
Tony.
No. Although at the same time, of course, there is that. And love of him. But there's also gratitude for nothing.
What do you mean? Gratitude for nothing?
Well, that's what love is.
This is it?
Yeah,
This is it?
yeah.
Tony,
What's that?
it's popping up. Can I tell?
Yeah, yeah.
Also, the ego, maybe it's complete. Also, if the stillness is complete and it's realized or okay, this means that also the search, also the ego, also the experience of the searching, of the person searching, is something that is complete and realized, like life is always the same in the substance. So it's all perfect like this now.
Yeah.
Just there is an appearing sense of non-realization.
Yeah.
But also this appearing sense of non-realization is only the mind that the dream of the mind is trying to say that there is something not complete, but life is always beyond the time.
Yeah.
It's also the time is an appearing, so life is completely happy now. Happy, I say it's not I want to say happy. Life is now.
So I wouldn't say it quite like that. I'd say everything is already complete, and there's a sense of separation to which that's hidden.
But also the sense of the separation
is completeness. Absolutely.
Holy.
Holy.
No, it's completely. It's still life happening.
Yeah.
So it's complete also the sense of the separation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just the appearing ego is saying is like it's like a voice in our heads saying that is not complete, but something beyond is.
Yeah, it's not the voice though.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The sense of separation is also an experience of life that needs to have this experience.
It doesn't. That's not true.
I mean, also the sense of the separation is complete because it's life happening.
It's complete, but not because of anything.
Because of everything.
Yeah.
You're very scientific. It's okay. Exactly. You go to the 100%.
Well, it just is
Very
100%.
good. Well, I understand.
Yeah.
So we can go. So we can go home.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, because when I come here, okay, when
You didn't come here.
Okay. when
Yeah, but there isn't a you.
okay.
It's the you that's trying to work this out.
In internet, it seems so spiritual. When I come here, I say you so normal.
Yeah,
Very normal.
I know.
More normal
Yeah.
than normal.
More normal than normal, wow. Yeah.
Jim, you mentioned in the introduction that
Yeah.
you did, right? The difference between longing and wanting
Yeah.
for freedom,
Yeah.
wanting freedom.
Yeah.
Can you?
Well, to me, wants personal freedom, a freedom that he can experience. It's like I can do what I want. Is personal freedom, and the freedom we're talking about here isn't I can do what I want. It's just that there isn't an I.
But if it's the me who experiences both wanting for freedom, wanting freedom, or longing,
Yeah, it doesn't experience longing.
it doesn't.
No,
So, who does?
no one. It's not an experience. It's in a sense you could say it's an openness to something else, but there isn't a knowing of what the something else is. There's just an openness.
And yet we seem to experience longing, but maybe it's not real longing.
No, it's wanting.
It's wanting.
Yeah, experience. If you experience, it's a wanting. It's
Okay.
wanting something else. Fundamentally, that sense of separation just wants more. It'll call it all sorts of things, spiritual or whatever, money, Netflix, sex, food, any of those things. It's just more. Just wants more.
And here?
What's that?
And here?
Here?
Here? Where is it?
Well, it depends. I think in most of the bodies it's going to be probably two things going on. One, there'll be more or less openness, and the questions will have more or less openness. And there'll also be a sense of separation that may or may not want an answer. There's kind of two things.
Jim, you know when you talk about the contraction being a physical thing,
Yeah,
and it's in the body,
yeah,
physically,
in a way.
what do you mean in a way?
Well, the experience is that it's in the body, but it actually is in everything. The solidity, the rigidity, the sense of knowingness sort of is in everything.
So,
But the experience is I am in a body.
yeah, because you said, for example, you had a lot of tension in the hips you didn't know about, and you had to learn
Yeah,
to
that's
walk
right.
again.
Yeah.
So it can affect a body very profoundly.
Yeah, it did here, yeah. I probably had a really big me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it bigger than
Spiritual me.
mine? Was it bigger?
Well, my spiritual me was definitely bigger than yours.
Well, I've never had a spiritual.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No, because I noticed it walking here. I was walking for about 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it felt like there was a total let go in the body energetically. And then other times it was like a real holding in the
Yeah.
body, like a holding.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it was let go again and then holding.
Mm.
Just kept going like that every
Yeah.
5 minutes changing.
And all of that is freedom.
I thought you would say that. Because I was thinking of that on the walk. I thought Jim would say it was all free.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. To the me, it has an importance.
Yeah.
This is better than that. It's a better experience.
I didn't see it as better and worse
Yeah.
on this occasion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, but I didn't see it as better and worse. It was just a shock how dramatic it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bless you.
also said, obviously, when we spoke on the phone, nobody gets a more relaxed body.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that aware.
Well, the thing is that nobody has anything already. The whole dream of having something, a life, for example, and things going through a process, is just a dream of nothing. There's already no solidity here.
Impossible? That's why it's impossible to get?
There isn't enough time to get it.
Oh, I didn't mean that.
I did.
I just meant because... No, what I meant was because the me can't see outside of its own experience.
Yeah, time. It's time-bound.
But what's that got to do with solidity?
Well, that's exactly the same. The sense of time being real is the sense that everything else being real. It's all the same energy
That's what creates
of realness.
That's what creates the sense of realness.
Yeah.
Time.
Well, no. It's the sense of separation which creates the sense that time is real and that everything else is real. It all begins, the whole story begins with the sense of separation.
I'm trying to defend myself against what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I can't disagree anymore.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. I haven't
Yeah.
got the energy to fight it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Why doesn't it matter?
Because it makes no difference. Fighting or not fighting is irrelevant. Everything's irrelevant because there's already nothing happening. It's already free. Fighting is freedom fighting. Not fighting is freedom not fighting. It makes no difference.
So you're telling me I've made no progress?
Well, there isn't anywhere to get progress. There's nowhere to go, man.
I thought I was doing really well.
Yeah.
I know I'm slower than most.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm trying to catch up.
Oh.
When I hear the sound of your voice, or the music, that is where mine was. When I hear your
Melodic voice.
the voice,
Ordinary, normal melodic voice.
that is the meaning. The mind is okay, is trying to catch it. But also, if I, for example, change the language and I don't understand, I feel the same message is coming.
Totally.
It's the same.
Totally.
It's about
Well, it's not in the words.
also, if you stay in silence or you stay,
Yeah,
it's the same.
absolutely.
It's very strange.
Yeah. Well, it's just not about what's happening.
It's
Not about what's happening. The individual is limited to what's happening. It's trying to find in everything. You're not, but this is what it would normally do, is it would try to understand the words or try to feel what's being said or somehow integrate it, have the experience of what we're talking about. And what you're talking about is experience and everything else. Doesn't really matter. It's the same energy that's happening, whether it's speaking or silence or English or Italian. It's all the same energy. And that's true.
It seems we are all this energy.
Absolutely.
There is not, because when you come here, there is Jim, and we also.
Yeah,
But
totally.
if you feel the message is coming to
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
to you,
Yeah.
it's we are the same.
Absolutely.
It's just no different.
No difference.
There and
Mm-mm.
it's just life happening and
Yeah.
joking. It's
Yeah.
a strange joke.
Yeah,
Not liking this joke, but okay.
yeah.
it's life happening.
Yeah, apparently.
Why do you say about
Because it's not really happening. It just seems to be.
seems to be happening?
Yeah, it seems to
So
happen.
there is also the time.
It's freedom moving, but freedom isn't different in movement. It's just freedom moving. It's freedom not moving. It's freedom speaking. So it only apparently happens. It only apparently changes. But as it's all freedom, nothing ever really happens and nothing ever really changes.
So
It only apparently does.
we can say that in the timeless, there had never been a person. In the timeless,
Oh, absolutely. Well, there already isn't a person.
that cannot be a person.
There are no. Well, the person is the sense of separation. The sense that freedom is an object or a something to know or to find, and it isn't. So it never has any reality at all except to itself. It's a self-referential reality. Only in its own knowing of itself does it exist.
It's just an energetic movement.
Yeah, yeah.
But in the substance is
Nothing.
It's
Same as everything else.
void.
Nothing. Yeah.
So you say that all the feelings are not mine. You say that all the feelings are not mine.
No, absolutely. Well, there isn't anyone to have them, but at the same time, so the me is although it's a sense of the personal, it isn't personal. It's also the impersonal happening. So in that way, nothing is actually belonging to anyone. But if there is that sense of separation, it does have an effect on thoughts and feelings through the experience that they're mine. That gives them energy. The sense that they're happening to someone gives them energy. Because the me in its story has this whole structure, this construct of good and bad and right and wrong. And so an emotion is either good or bad or right or wrong. It's something along those lines. And that's an energy that can keep it going, make it big or same with thoughts.
Yeah, that's what I was. I want to ask that. How can I? So yeah, some of the feelings are nicer. Some of the feelings are bad. I sense it that they're bad.
Yeah, that's the story. That anything is good or bad.
Jim, everything is a story, a dream.
The only story is the individual.
How do you think about philosophy, for example?
Yeah,
What is philosophy?
that's a bit boring,
Because
really.
yeah, it's very boring, I know.
Yeah.
I was watching a short video on YouTube this week, and it was about monkeys, and there was a magician, who made things disappear. And these monkeys were really terrified, or they started to laugh, or so. They also have a sense of, how can you say, the fixedness of objects.
Yeah,
Like
oh totally, yeah.
When we think about this whole, what we know is evolution,
Yeah,
and then we have the human being who's all of a sudden starting to ask himself, why am I here? What am I doing here? Who am I? And what's happening? So, but it's, of course, it's all a story and it's all an appearance, but there's kind of a
so
sort
the only story is that what's happening is happening to me. That's the only story. Everything still apparently happens. The story is, it's happening to me.
But I can speak with you about it.
Well, actually you don't speak with me. Speaking happens. Everything is already just simply happening on its own. And if there's a sense of an individual, the sense will be, I'm speaking, which is an illusion.
So the law for philosophy is also something which appears in the story.
No, not necessarily. This thing, physics is cool. And astrophysics and all that stuff. There's a real enjoyment of that. Doesn't need an individual to enjoy things.
Okay, so we can say actually nothing, we can actually anyhow say nothing about anything. About
What do you mean?
What is appearing to us? What is
Well, what's appearing for no
appearance,
one?
Appearances. There seems to be a kind of how can you say intelligence or
Well, it's just whatever
reason
appears. I mean,
I don't know.
there's obviously displays of intelligence. The apes, that were shocked. That's an intelligent reaction. So there's displays of intelligence, but it's all nothing appearing. It's all nothing appearing as intelligence. There isn't a separate intelligence behind the appearance acting on this or making this happen.
But I would like to believe it.
Oh, I know. God will take care. Yeah.
Recently, I'm interested in that what actually the difference is between animals and human, And but I think that actually it's just the thinking. And somehow this time I experienced that actually it's just fucks up everything, like the thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's only fucks up everything is part of a story, that there's someone with a life that could be different. Because there isn't a life. No one has a life. There is only what is, and it's completely void of story. It's so void of story that even a story is not a story. It's just words, it's just ideas, it's just nothing appearing as all of that. There never is a story. It's already completely empty. There is no story.
That also means that this question
It's just a question.
doesn't.
It's just nothing
make sense.
asking a question.
But it doesn't mean that it doesn't make sense to us.
No, it does make sense. It can make sense. That's nothing appearing to make sense.
So what would you say? What is the difference between animals and humans?
Well, I mean, apparently there seems to be this sense of separation that happens in an individual. It doesn't seem to happen in animals.
Mm. Yeah.
So the whole fact of existence is also a dream.
Well, the
Existence.
effect of existence, well, the appearance is an appearance. It's not a dream. It's just an appearance.
The difference between an appearance and a dream.
Well, the way I use the word dream is the dream of the individual. The dream that this is part of a real continuum that has intention of becoming. That's the dream of the individual.
Like more structure, more...
The solidity to it. A solidity, yeah, a rigidity.
And I was wondering, so you were raised since very little, I guess, with the apparent sense of the me, and then you have all of the conditioning that, you know,
Yeah.
until apparently there was no more of a me or whatever.
Yeah.
And have you ever thought of what the difference would have been if there had been no me? What would have been the difference between the conditioning?
Yeah. Yeah, well, there isn't a me.
I know that.
Oh, right.
Apparently.
So let's pretend that the story is real and then work that out, and maybe we'll understand more now. I mean, you know, you can come up with all sorts of stories, and they're just things would be apparently different. And so what?
No, it's just so well.
Yeah, totally.
But, I don't know, just
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Nice story.
Yeah.
Probably less trauma.
So what?
No,
There's nothing right or wrong with trauma.
just for the sake of asking.
Oh, right.
So what? So what did you say? So what?
So what?
So what if you have?
It makes no difference. Trauma is just nothing appearing as trauma.
Yeah.
There's no value in the appearance.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely empty of value because it doesn't have any need to become anything. It's already free.
Yeah.
So there's no value in what happens. So there's no value in it appearing one way or the other. It's all simply freedom appearing. And freedom is free to appear as trauma or conditioning or not trauma. It's just freedom.
What do you think so?
Huh?
What do you think so?
That's not a thought.
No, but do you think, looking back to the question I asked, do you think there would have been less trauma?
The trauma happens in the brain, as far as I understand it. So I don't know how that would respond if there were a me or not a me.
So basically, it doesn't matter what
No.
appears or doesn't appear. So
It's just what happens.
So recently, I think that I will go back to being an animal that was that would solve all my struggles.
Yeah. But that is an animal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. But not just an animal.
Yeah. Animal plus. Plus the sense of being a me. Yeah.
Yes, that's the difference.
Mm. Wanting not to be a me is the same energy.
What?
Wanting not to be a me, first off, you don't. But beyond that, it's the same energy as wanting. It's just another wanting.
Yeah.
It's another projection that what's happening is real, and what's wanted is another real, better experience. But this is already not real in that way. It's what's longed for. It already is what's longed for. It's already done.
So it's real or unreal?
What's that?
It's real and unreal.
Yeah, at the same time.
It's the contrary and not contrary. It's beyond the negative and the positive.
Yeah.
And it's totally
Absolute equilibrium.
from the mind.
What's that?
The mind cannot understand this message.
No,
totally.
no.
There is-
No.
because for the mind, it's just a headache.
It's a headache. Yeah.
Something else is, I don't know, very strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the individual, it's very
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Any prescription?
Yeah. Yeah.
Prescription or-
Yeah. You have to pay more for the prescriptions.
Can you tell about what happened in gym? I mean,
Yeah.
what happened to you when this pops up?
Yeah. When what pops up?
There was a gym.
Yeah.
And one day you just wake up and
Yeah. So it's not like that. It's not actually an event. Because there isn't a me to stop happening. I know it seems real. I know it seems so solid and everything that it would have to be a big deal, the end of there being someone. But actually there isn't anyone to fall away. There isn't anyone to not be there.
But I mean, in a practical way, you were a child and okay.
Yeah, apparently.
One day,
I wasn't, but there's a history.
what happened?
Yeah.
In practical, what happened to you?
Well, this went to school, yeah, and was very bad at school. Wasn't very good. But then it got better at college, at university, it got better. I don't know what you want. There's no story that's going to help. The individual wants to hear the story of the end of me because it wants to relate to the end of me. But there is no relationship to the end of me because there isn't a me. It's an illusion.
One day the time stops. One
Huh?
day the time stops in your
It's not like that one day the time stops. It's that there's a sense of me, and then there never is, or never was a sense of me. It's the end of something that never happened. And you're looking for the end of something that seems to really be happening, which is just another better experience. It's just looking for something for itself.
It's like, for example, this is a table, but when you all go outside and no one looks the table is the same things it was, but not an individual, no. Just a mind working. It's not like that.
Jim, it's amazing how the me really feels so in control of what's happening and what it experiences.
Yeah.
Because I always thought, well, what did Jim do right? What did Jim do right?
Yeah.
But actually, that illusory sense that there was a Jim was powerless.
Oh, totally.
To cause its own end, or
absolutely.
end, or continue.
Yeah, totally.
Or go to meetings, or to avoid meetings.
Absolutely.
Or any of it.
Absolutely.
But there's still a sense I have to make the right choices.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as long as there's a sense of me, there's a sense of being in control. Being the decider, the knower. That's the terrifying thing, is not knowing.
That's the whole fear, isn't it?
That's the whole thing, yeah.
No, the whole fear, I said.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not knowing.
Yeah.
Not just in terms of not knowing what could happen in the future, but just this being not knowing.
Yeah, that's right.
Because if I know you, I feel safe.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I don't know if I'll explain this well, but it's afraid of aliveness in a way.
Oh, totally.
Unknowing is aliveness,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, I told you the day I had a glimpse.
Mm.
One of the things that came up very strongly after that glimpse was knowing things makes me feel safe.
Yeah.
But it completely hides the aliveness of
Yeah.
it all, because when there's no one knowing, everything is completely
Absolutely.
alive.
Well, it's still, yeah, it
Well,
seems
still
to hide it.
is.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah.
So wherever that body looks, it only sees aliveness.
Well, you can't see aliveness.
You can't see aliveness.
No.
Why not? Well,
Because it's not an object. It's not a thing. If we're talking about freedom, then no one sees freedom.
there only is aliveness.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the me threatens, so it wants to.
Yeah.
In the kitchen we were talking about sensitivity.
About?
About sensitivity.
Yeah.
Remember? And I told you that I like to be, in a way, I like to be more sensitive because
Yeah.
I like that whole delicate sensations I can have.
Yeah.
Is it also about wanting to be more, to have more experience?
It's not about what happens. As long as there's a me, it is undifferentiatedly looking at everything, looking for something.
Mm.
So it's not about what happens, about being more sensitive or less sensitive, or trying to parse away, oh, if I do this, this is more me, and if I do that, it's less me. If there's that sense of separation, it's just in everything.
I guess it's the sense of experience that's the problem for me.
What is?
The fact that it experiences
The what experience?
whatever,
Oh,
things, the world,
Experience.
and life is so ambivalent there. So it's a
Well,
source
the
of
problem
good and
the
bad
problem
things.
for the me is separation,
Yeah, and that
and
also
and
allows
it
for
is
experience.
separation, and it is separation. Yeah. And it's that sense of separation that engenders, makes a feeling of something being lost. And so out of that something being lost, it just looks for something everywhere. Its idea, its feeling is that enough something will be fulfillment. But there isn't enough something.
Enough.
There isn't enough.
Yeah, enough something. And it kind of knows it because we can,
No, it doesn't.
it doesn't.
Mm-mm.
Because we can also tell that no matter how much we get, it's an unending
Yeah,
story.
But it'll think that it just wants the wrong things, and it'll try to find the something, a better something somewhere else.
It only was the right thing.
Yeah, that's right.
No, you said it was the wrong thing. It looks for the wrong thing.
No, it'll just look for something else. If this doesn't work, it'll look for something else.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's so desperate, that sense of separation, that it's even happy to be unhappy. So even if it's the wrong thing, or pain, it'll prefer pain than not being. Not being.
It's like it cannot learn. It doesn't have the ability. It's like
Well, it's not real in that way. It doesn't learn anything in that sense.
it appears to learn, though.
What's that?
It does appear to learn.
The me doesn't learn. The me is an energy that owns. That it doesn't own it as an action. It owns it as just the way things are. It feels like everything belongs to me. Everything is my experience or my knowing. And so in that way it has an effect, but it doesn't in that way change. Fundamentally, that's all it is a sense of separation that has a need of control, a need of being secure, and a need of more. And that's just the energy of it. So it doesn't have, it's not like a real entity that becomes more intelligent and learns different things.
Yeah.
It's just the sense of ownership of everything. What's that?
I mean, my experience is that it does learn things. It does learn that.
It doesn't. This learns. It learns, what's painful and what's less painful, and naturally it will move to what's less painful or what's pleasurable and away from what's painful. But if there's a me, it'll have a story about that. But this naturally...
Also the lack of capacity to learn that there's no way out.
It can't...
That it cannot learn...
it can't hear that.
It can't.
Because if it hears that, it'll just turn it into another story. I don't have a way out. So I'm hopeless, which is just the other side of hope.
And it would be intellectual.
Or it can be feeling, actually. Feeling desperate, sad.
Jim, seems to be an apparent loss happening, but not really to anyone. But at the same time, it feels like the apparent me is coming stronger up. And grabbing on. And being really aggressive. Wants to survive.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Didn't really have
That's all right. Yeah.
Jim, how can it be that some people have very clear memories of past lives if there is no me and no life and no past life?
Yeah, I mean, it's just what is. It doesn't matter. I mean, we don't know that they're past lives, do we? But it doesn't matter. So what? People have memories of past lives.
And where does it come from?
Everything is nothing appearing.
So it's not an imagination?
It doesn't matter. I mean, we could get into whether it exists or not. I mean, nothing actually exists. There isn't actually any time, so there isn't any time for anyone to have had a past life. But that, beiseite, it's just, if there's somebody that feels like they've had a past life, that's nothing appearing as somebody that's had a past life.
That's very simple.
It's very simple. The me is really attracted to things that are special.
Yes.
And out of the ordinary and spiritual and all of that, because fundamentally it feels special. And so it feels like the solution is going to be something special. It's hidden in something special or important or valuable. And so it likes those sorts of stories. And it likes gurus that sit on thrones with crowns and things or other things, because it reflects how they feel it has to be, what freedom is. Freedom looks like something special, whereas really it's just sitting on a chair.
So these memories are only real for this person who has the memories?
The only thing that's real is only to an individual, only to that sense of separation. And then there needs to be an explanation, needs to be understanding, all of that. Where really it's just very simple. It's just nothing appearing. And it's not real. It's not unreal.
But the individual feels it's real.
Yeah. Because it feels like it's real. The individual senses I'm real.
Okay, and then it's real that I had past life.
And then everything is real. Whatever appears is real. To that separate sense. That's the dream. Nothing is ever real. It doesn't change anything. The sense of me has no effect on the freedom that this is.
But in life there is...
Excuse me?
In the human life, there is also sort of intelligence that brings up to new discovery. They go to the moon, there is a scientific part that is...
Apparently.
Of intelligence.
Apparently.
There is an intelligence that things in nature going on.
Yeah.
Something is like life is intelligent in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you see the trees.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
there is a sort of intelligence. Also, if it's a parent, but it's very loving.
Loving. Yeah.
Very, it's a form of art, the life.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah.
That is near to this form of not thinking. When life is not thinking, it's very blinking up.
You're putting conditions on freedom, and there aren't any conditions.
So all what's happening is complete.
Yeah.
All the story, the intelligence.
It's all free. It's all just freedom appearing. Yeah. Yeah.
It's all freedom happening.
Yeah.
So being special and being separated is kind of the same.
It is, yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. The individual, the experience of being an individual is I am the center of the universe.
Yeah.
It's kind of special.
Sure.
Yeah.
Actually, yesterday we were talking about this topic that in some situations, social situations, it feels so clear this being in the center,
Yeah.
like being watched also.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like really tense,
Yeah.
stressful.
Yeah.
Contraction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that there are like situations where it's or being with other people, it's more obvious this
I think what you're
center?
talking about is self-consciousness. The actual contraction, the actual energy of separation, I don't actually think anybody ever sees it until it falls away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think self-consciousness, one can be more self-conscious or less self-conscious. The individual can be.
So actually, this is not the same than
It's not.
the separation, the basic
No.
separation. It's probably more in the psyche.
Well, I don't know about psyche. It's just fundamental. It's universal. So there isn't any way really to be aware of it. Because it's just everything that's
the
happening.
self-awareness is more in the psyche.
I don't know about psyche.
Okay.
It's very simple. Either there's sitting on a chair, which is freedom, sitting on a chair, or there's someone sitting on a chair. And if there's someone sitting on a chair, there's the sense that everything is separate. Everything is separate.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, right now I've got a really strong need to try and make sense out of what's happening.
Yeah.
Is that about control?
Totally.
Because what's going on in my mind is that you've come all the way from North Carolina and you've got nothing to tell us.
Yeah.
And this would only make sense for you to come all the way from North Carolina if you had something to give us.
Yeah.
But you haven't?
No.
Because I'm listening to you answer the question.
Well, there isn't even a you to give anything to.
I don't want anything.
No, the difficulty for the me is that it has a story, and then it runs into nothing, and the story doesn't make sense. But there isn't a story to this. All there is sitting in a room. It didn't come from anywhere, and it's not going anywhere. This is simply everything. It's all there is. So there's no need for an explanation, because there isn't anything really happening. No story.
But even in the me's need for an explanation, it will never get one.
Not a satisfactory one. Well, a satisfactory, but not a fulfilling one.
So it has to just keep.
It just keeps
new
going, yeah.
Explanations.
And what is that apparently sitting in the chair?
What is that?
What is that apparently sitting in the chair?
A body. There's a body.
Apparently body?
Yeah.
Or is it energy that
Yeah,
looks
you
like
could
a
say
body?
that. Yep, absolutely.
What did you say?
Or is it energy that looks like a body? Yeah, energy appearing as a body.
Contracted energy too.
Apparently, but that's confusing because when we talk about contracted energy here, we're talking about the me. Yeah.
So can I say that, like, right now, is it also a story that there is a city around? Like
It's just a
Vienna?
thought.
It's just
It's a thought.
So
That
it's
there's a
story.
city around. No, the only story is that someone is having the thought.
Okay.
It's just a thought. Yeah.
When you say self-awareness, I wonder what you mean by that, because it seems like all bodies have the function of being
Yeah. Yeah.
self-referential thoughts, or
Well, those are very much attached to or come with the sense of separation, self-referential thoughts. When there isn't anyone to have those thoughts, then thinking is a little more fundamental. It's not quite as...
but you can still have a thought. I'm assuming, like you, for example, still have a thought that refers to Jim in some way.
Well, not really, no. There are thoughts about what's happening, but they don't happen to anyone. So there isn't a thought about Jim's thoughts. That doesn't happen.
But a thought of the form, I don't know, like, I need to do this and that at 4 o'clock, can happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, planning happens, yeah. Yeah.
And also, like, it's basically the same question maybe, but when you talk about consciousness or awareness in general as being illusory,
Yeah.
so again, I'm assuming you're not referring to the bodily function of consciousness, or, right? Because it seems that things can happen where the body has a story about them, then you could call it conscious, or you can say that the body is aware of something.
Well, that's the story. Consciousness. You can't define what this is. And consciousness is an effort to define this. It can't be defined.
So there is no self-awareness, self-knowledge.
No.
It's not words, thoughts,
No.
another seeking.
Yeah.
And then, still, I mean, the body seems to have, I don't know, the human body seems to sense red, for example, whereas
Sense what?
a color.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not sure that a robot with computer vision senses a color.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that seems to be like a bodily function.
Yeah.
And to me, the word consciousness kind of seems to fit that function.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to ask it, like you're not referring to that function that you're talking about a story.
No. No, there's, yeah.
So the thoughts are part of the appearances, and the story is that I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jim, does the me view everything in terms of gain or loss?
Yeah.
And it feels good when it thinks it's gaining.
Yeah.
And it feels bad when it thinks it's losing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the me's actually quite simple then.
Oh, very.
It's not as complex as it thinks.
Oh, it loves the idea that it's complicated. It likes complication.
Is it because it's special?
That's right. It's another form of specialness.
The more complicated I am, and the more problems I have to work out,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
more special.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
actually, it's just a very simple.
It's very
entity
simple.
That's always greedy for more.
Yeah.
And defending what it has, what
Yeah.
it thinks it has.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, in the human life, the reality, the truth is that no one can avoid the completeness.
No.
It's something that no one can avoid, but everyone is searching for.
Yeah. What's longed for is unavoidable. What's longed for is unavoidable.
Okay. Something good is going slow.
The fact that I'm coming here and
Yeah,
speaking
you
with
can't work it
about-
out.
Okay, I didn't come here, I know. Speaking with you about things that cannot be spoken of.
Yeah.
So actually, there's nothing to be said.
No.
Is the fact that I'm still, this is still happening. Something like I want to be special, so I'm coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
It's
That
the
might
same-
be.
I don't know. It's the same phenomenon, no? Maybe because I like to come here and speak about what cannot be spoken of.
Yeah.
With everyone, with you.
Yeah.
But is it also a manifestation of the me that wants to be
So,
special?
so there isn't a particular manner. There are certain actions that the me that a body would do when there's a me that it wouldn't do if there weren't a me. But it's not about parsing that away to try to find a more real way of being or any of that. Because as long as there's a me, it just is in everything. But to come here, no one actually does. But to come here, there has to be a certain openness to something more than getting.
Yes, of course, because we're speaking about loss.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're only losing
Yeah.
things now.
Yeah.
That's the contradiction.
Oh, totally.
So
Oh, this is
maybe I'm
absolute a
thinking
paradox.
losing things, I don't know.
Absolutely. And there's nothing to lose.
No.
There is only this. It's not, there's not enough time to have anything. The whole experience of having something and knowing something is just a dream. So there isn't anything to lose.
No.
The only loss is what it already isn't real. No reality at all.
But still, it feels good to be here.
Oh, nice. Great. Yeah.
Would you say that the story of me, although not having ever been real, had causal power?
Causal, yeah, it has an apparent effect. Yeah. Facebook. Religion, spirituality, all those things, they would only happen for me.
How does that work on an ontological level? Something not being real, still happening?
Well, that Facebook, spirituality, all that are just what is. So timelessness appearing as that. It doesn't actually have, this doesn't have an actual linear reality. It's nothing appearing as a linear reality. It just appears. Only seems to be there. There isn't a there though. And there isn't a here. At the same time, there isn't not a there, and there isn't not a here.
Yeah. Everything.
Yeah.
Could you say that not knowing is actually a part of our life?
Is a part of our life. I don't know what that means. I mean, the me lives in a kind of a state of confusion and lost and trying to figure things out.
Deep dreamless sleep.
Yeah.
That is not knowing.
Yeah. Well, what's speaking is unknowing. There isn't enough time to know. The sense that there's an individual that's in control of what's being said is just a dream. A dream that this is real and it's happening to me. But it's already unknowing.
When I am in a deep dreamless sleep, there is no me.
Yeah.
So there is not.
That's what you think. Yeah.
There's only the absolute.
Yeah. Well, this is the absolute. But this is the absolute.
Yeah.
It's already the case. You don't have to wait. There isn't enough time to wait. Start a new religion, the deep dreamless sleep religion. You just go to a residential and you just sleep for 5 days.
So it's when this so it's there isn't a time to be enlightened.
No, there isn't enough time to be
There
enlightened.
isn't enough time. It's the only thing. It's real. It's net methodology. It's the life that is complete, and just there isn't a way to be enlightened. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Because there is no one to be enlightened.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also this questioning, it's a sort of like complete.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
So in the mind doesn't make sense. It's like a joke.
Yeah.
But for life, it's life happening.
Yeah.
Complete.
Yeah.
And without any understanding.
Yeah. Well, understanding can happen. It doesn't make a difference.
But also understanding.
Even a me can happen. It's still completeness.
Also these things of searching everyone here is searching. But for the life is the life happening. And it's
Searching is also life happening.
Searching is
yeah.
Exactly.
Jim, you said that there is actually not enough time to know.
Yeah.
That sounds somehow nice.
Is it that knowledge depends on time?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, it takes time, just like it takes time to know what that is. And that knowing what that is a dream. Because really it's fundamentally unknowing, appearing as a curtain. So it is a curtain, but it isn't. And for the individual, it just is a curtain. And that is a curtain is an illusion. Because it is and it isn't a curtain. Just like there's no here, but there's no not here. There's just what is, which is everything. And that sense of knowing is a time-bound experience. Solid. Boom. Real.
But this knowing is also that something happens and then immediately we make up a story around that.
Well, it doesn't.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. It happens. The individual is the story. The individual is that what's happening is real, and it's happening to me. That's the story. That's
so
the
then
dream.
I think probably I use it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, this word. This story word.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm talking about is just actually the brain does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Making up
Yeah.
a story.
This knows where the hotel is, and where the restaurant is, and so there's information, but that's not a story. It's just information.
So there's sitting, eating, dreaming, whatever.
Yeah.
But when it happens to someone, then time is added on.
Well, the sense that time and everything is real. Yeah. Which, in another way, you could say is just that everything is solid.
Yeah.
And it's just a reflection. It's the sense that I am real is then the same as that everything is real. It's all the same energy.
So, for example, when I push off a mug from the table and then it falls down, and then I think that okay, it fell down because I pushed off.
Yeah.
Is that the?
That's apparently what happened.
And it's not.
But it's
the
all
story.
timeless. It's the timeless appearing as time. Cause and effect appears to happen, but there isn't any cause and effect.
So is it the cause and effect? The part
Yeah, that's the problem, is you can't land on, the me wants to be on one side or the other. It wants to know.
Okay.
And this is both. There appears to be cause and effect, but there isn't. There appears to be time, but there isn't. There appears to be objects, but there aren't. There appears to be a here and a there, but there aren't. A real here and a there. It's just an appearance of freedom.
I have a 2.5-year-old daughter, and sometimes, especially in the mornings, we tend to just sit and look at each other. And normally it gets interrupted by one of us laughing, it's normally her. And it's like I can see that in that laughter that for each week or month that goes, that laughter becomes more and more kind of oh yeah, I remember. Right? And it's disappearing. When will you say that this? Because now she has a quite strong will.
Yeah.
She's 2.5. But I would say it was a quite shift when she was around 1.
Yeah. I think 18 months is when. So, I mean, this is just a story, right? But the story is that babies live in sort of an oceanic, they call it the oceanic experience, which is kind of like what this is talking about. It's kind of the same thing. And at about 18 months, there seems to be a real contraction because there's always an understanding or a sense that the body has a here-ness that's separate from over there. It's just not a real here or a real there. And when that energy contracts, then this suddenly, the here is then real and it's my here. That's the story.
You could say that when it's gone, that concentration never happens.
Well, nothing ever really happens.
Jesus or Krishnamurti or that kind of persons. They had no.
Got exciting. Jesus, Krishnamurti. That's good. Where are we going?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. That's all right.
He said that the contraction with them never happened.
Oh, right. Oh, are we talking about J. Krishnamurti? Are we talking about J. Krishnamurti?
Yeah.
Oh, he totally talks about being contracted, and he went to the Theosophical, Annie Ledbetter and all these people, and Annie Besant to learn how to be. I know, but only after time. Yeah. Don't know about Jesus.
Jim, I'm thinking about that thing you sometimes say. You sometimes say the biggest problem for me is that there isn't a problem, a real problem.
Yeah.
Because from the me's perspective, if there is a real problem, it can find its way out.
That's right.
It has a path to do something.
Yeah.
But if there's no problem,
it's lost.
The seeking gives
doesn't know what to do with itself.
No.
No.
It can't just be.
No.
It has to be on the move.
Oh, totally.
And I think my problem sitting here today, I've been feeling quite defeated. It's because there's nothing to work on.
No. It's just there isn't anyone to work on it.
To work on what? No.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just sitting in a room.
It's just sitting in a room, yeah.
You say that it cannot just be, but when it moves, it is also being apparently.
Yeah, all there is, if you like, I don't use the word very much because it sounds like something to do, but you could say all there is being.
You said that for you being, it sounds like doing.
Yeah, it's something for the me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, the difficulty with this message for that me is the me is about becoming. And the message is fundamentally about what is already. Mm-hmm. So they don't actually communicate with each other. The me never hears this because it only can hear about becoming and completely misses is already.
So that's why he hears the being as something
to do. Mm-hmm. Oh, it'll hear freedom as something to do, as the absolute, or aliveness, or anything. It'll hear everything as something to do, as a thing, as something.
I sense a kind of a sadness inside me, and I guess it comes from that. Oh, it cannot be reached.
Yeah, that's right.
While you were seeing Tony, and you were still in the dream, did you see him as someone special, or did you just see him as a mate?
Both.
And now he's just a mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
No projection.
No. But there was something different about him.
Now or then?
Well, yeah. To me, it seemed like there was something that wasn't happening there that seemed really attractive.
Got it. Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
It feels so attractive.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? And I was talking about this, I think, well, I was talking about it with both Tony and Andreas this week, that like it's becoming clearer and clearer to me when I meet anyone else, there's an agenda coming at you.
Yeah.
Whenever I've talked to you or Tony or Andreas for years, and we talk a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so clear there's nothing expected.
Yeah.
There's nothing wanted, and there's no, like, you don't want to gain anything from me at all.
Yeah.
And that's what I find most attractive about
Yeah,
it.
totally.
And that's freedom. Because
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
I just want to clarify my last sentence. Actually, it's not about it cannot be reached. I can. Not
It's hopeless.
reach that. Yeah.
It's hopeless. Yeah.
Is that why you wanted to spend so much time with Tony? Because you could just sense there was something
Yeah.
happening there.
Yeah.
And you just wanted to be around that as much as you could.
Yeah.
And you knew you'd never have it, or did you think one day you would get it?
No. So when I was a bit younger, I had an awakening or whatever you want to call it, and and it was obvious then that it had nothing to do with me.
So you were going to the meetings with Tony, knowing you weren't going to
Totally.
get anything ever.
Totally.
You never had the hope that you would get it.
Mm-mm. Well, I think there was still an idea that something would happen, but it was obvious, because of that awakening, that it had nothing to do with me, with Jim. It had nothing to do with Jim.
It's amazing how the me obviously has this view when it hears the word unconditional love of something good. I know this comes up quite a lot when you meet people who say about that. Unconditional love, so it can just be totally merciless.
It is merciless.
It has no interest in anything.
No.
Well, you said already about the...
Well, it's not even an it.
Yeah. There's just no deals going on, no compromise.
There's nothing separate to compromise with.
You mean it's all there is?
Yeah.
And it appears as whatever it appears as?
Yeah.
You mentioned that the thoughts appears, also the desires appears.
Yeah. Desire, yeah.
And so just desire is happening, right?
Yeah.
And that's all. So who's choosing to following the desire or not?
Oh, no one chooses.
No one. So.
But that's already the case. I mean, that even if there is a me, there isn't anyone choosing.
So just desire is happening, and you kind of are involved in the desire.
Well, this isn't involved. There isn't anyone here to be involved. But there's just what happens.
Could just the me surrender to what it is?
Oh, no.
No?
You couldn't surrender to it because it's not separate.
Well, or let's say dissolve, or some other words used?
Oh, there's no... For the me to become freedom, there would have to be separation to freedom. But all there is freedom. So there's nothing to become. The me, that's how freedom seems to be lost. Because for that separate sense, it's a something to become. Missing that it's what is already.
That cannot be something to become.
Excuse me?
There is no possibility that there cannot be something. Only in the mind there is the idea that there is
To become. Absolutely.
Nothing is becoming.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There is no little possibility.
No. There's no possibilities.
The life is always complete.
Yeah.
And always, when I say always, it's not.
Exactly.
There is the time.
That's right.
No possibility.
No hope.
It's a foolish. It's for the man.
Yeah.
Or the.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
So it's something not normal. You look so normal, but the message is something.
You look so normal. You sound crazy.
I'm not worried for you. I'm not worried for me, but I'm looking for the thing you see. Need the same here because you know.
I don't understand what you're saying.
If someone else in the street say the same things you say,
Yeah.
I think there is some sort of no. Okay, I just okay. But in what you're saying, it's not what you say, but also there is something inside the word.
Yeah, totally.
There is like a Trojan needle.
Yeah, that's right. Trojan horse. Yeah.
You open that.
So one could say there is no way out because there is no way.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. There's nothing in, so there's no way out.
Great.
Yeah.